Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Okay guys, Community Weeks continues and we've just had this drop this morning, which, damn, this is actually like awesome. Depending on how hard it is to do, but the kind of like the thinking of it is awesome. So we are able to pick up a perfect soul for Lady Mikage. It says here, Community Weeks festivities remain in full swing. We're keeping the good vibes going with a great opportunity to get your hands on amazing rewards. So from right now until May 2nd, so the end of this week, we're launching a champion training tournament where you'll be able to get perfect soul for Mikage, plus more Titan points and stuff. I guess we'll see. We'll see how achievable this is, but actually maybe it's just like, is it just a couple of people that get it? We'll see. If you manage to take first place on the leaderboard during your group, and it's a week-long group, you will earn perfect souls. So if you're a low-level person, 3-star. If you are a level 51 to 70, it's a 4-star up for grabs, and you have to score at least 12,500 points. And then if you are a high-level player, it's a 5-star up for grabs. Oh, this is tricky because this is a huge like boon for your account. Honestly, a 5-star Mikage, if you're a late game player, is tons of HP, accuracy, resistance, like all of the stats you want really from Mikage apart from speed. If you take first point but don't have the minimum points, you will not receive the soul. I do wish they would just flip this a little bit. So I think I've already got, let me just check here, I think I've already got a full one. Yeah, I picked up a 6-star a while back. So someone like me, I'm obviously not in the running, don't really care. But, you know, if we look at the sort of stat gain you get here for a mythical, it's a ton, right? So exclude the speed because it's a 5-star maximum. But look at the stats. It's a crazy amount, okay? And then obviously you get then the active abilities as well, depending on what you're going to be doing with your Mikage. Yeah, it's pretty insane, but I wish that they weren't just for like a few people to be able to pick these up. You know, it would, I think it would be a better look and a better incentive if the top reward on the right-hand side here was like, I don't know, the 3-star or something like that. So it's like, either way, you're picking up a soul for your Mikage. Okay, but then if you want to go in the hunt and try and win the higher level souls, that's when you come on this side. Because the trouble is, I mean, I've been involved in these, right? I've been involved in champion training tournaments. And this one, you're allowed to use skill tomes and all that type of stuff to get extra points, which means that you can get rapid point scoring right at the end. So you need to, if you're going to go for this, which I'd say get a bit of a feel for your group and decide whether you want to or not. There's a good side to this before we get there, actually. All the stuff on the right-hand side here is decent. Okay, so you've got mythical books, you've got legendary books, you've got half a primal shard, you've got obviously the Titan points, like some essence towards souls anyway. All of this is good. So you're not wasting your time. And obviously, leveling and developing your champs on your account is good. Okay, so all of that works. But if you're going to go for this, I would suggest there are 2 directions. The first direction is you try and go out the traps super fast and make everyone think this is not worth chasing. No one should chase me because I am absolutely all in for this. Okay, that's one strat. It's a dangerous strat. Because if you've got, I mean, how many people in the group is it? 100? Yeah, it's 100. So if you've got 3 people all doing that, which I've been involved in a group where that happened, by the way. It was 3 originally, and then eventually it was me and one other. And we ended up doing that for a week straight. And we burnt so many resources, and it was an absolute challenge. And that's how I eventually got Krisk, by the way, back in the day. If you haven't seen some of the old content on that, you should go and check it out. It was intense, okay? I was like no life in Raid Shadow Legends for a full week, and it was intense. And I mean, I scored the most points I've ever scored in anything like this. I was like 100 and, if I remember rightly, maybe it was close to 200,000 points. It was something insane. Can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a lot. Anyway, I ended up streaming like the last 12 hours of it. It was proper intense. But if you end up having this kind of like head-to-head battle, then you will just burn way more resources than you ever wanted to, and you'll probably end up spending as well if you're really like pushing for that. And that's where it becomes like, you know, how valuable is it to you, and are you willing to do that type of stuff? Because second prize is nowhere near as good as first prize. They don't, you know, why don't they have a few more options here? If they had 5-star soul for the winner, 4-star soul for like the next 2 to 5 or 2 to 10, then suddenly you've got, you know, a consolation prize, but it's not really a consolation prize here. You're all in, win or lose. Now, the problem we've got is that books are worth a lot of points here, right? So if someone just wants to burn, let's say they've got 10 legendary books sitting there and 4 mythical books and 100 epic books, right? You're probably like, no, wait, HH, you're being stupid. That is not being stupid. People that have played this game for a while that really want this, there's a good chance those are the numbers they've got, okay? And at that point, you know, you're talking thousands of points they can just turn on in seconds, literally in seconds. And anyone who's looking to snipe, and this is the other strat, will do that, okay? Anyone who's looking to snipe, they will just sit there 3,000 or 4,000 points below the leader, just ticking along. And then in the last 10 minutes, loads of people will be sad. That's the way this will roll. And chances are there's 2 people in your group that are going to do that. So you almost have to be ready to counter snipe if that's the way you want to play it. All right. So there's a lot of things that are going through this, especially now that you get points, not just for leveling, but also for everything else. Quick ascension, bang. Quick ascension on 4 champions, burn a load of books. Suddenly I've just whacked up 20,000 points. And everyone's like, wow, where did that guy come from? So that's definitely on the cards, right? You just need to prepare yourself mentally, for that's the way this can go down. Let's talk about how do you actually earn points, like, I guess, relatively cheaply, okay? And this is a strat which will basically 4 times your effectiveness. I've shown it probably at least a billion times before, but I'm going to show you it again. You can literally come in and grab a food champion. Let's assume that all of my epics here right now are food, okay? And they're all chickens that I've leveled up to 4-star. Anyone who is a food champion, you need to absolutely put levels into them before you feed them, okay? This is how people earn a lot of points without using tons of resources. You still have to use a lot, but take all of these 4-star chickens, right? I literally come in for let's just go through it. I don't tend to do this with 1-star or 2-star personally, right? So 1-star, in fact, let's just get some in. Let's get some in. This is important. Let's grab myself some of these juicy chickens. New summon pull in as well. Harima's in the mix. Lots going on. Okay, so what do we do here? This is what I do. I take my 1-star. I feed it 1 chicken, and I feed it 3 other 1-stars. I never personally level 1-stars in campaign unless I am absolutely starved of brews. Even on my free-to-play, this is what I did, okay? All the time. I guess there's instant upgrade nowadays. I don't tend to use it because I'm a dinosaur and I've still got the old way in my head. But anyway, this is what I do with a 1-star. 2 stars, I actually tend to level in campaign on something like a free-to-play. But on an account like my account, I would probably just straight, honestly, max them with brews. I won't be throwing them through campaign. 3 stars to get that juicy bonus of there's still food, but there's still food, but I'm going to put some levels into them. I will do 2 brews. Okay, they'll go to level 15, and I'll get 28 points for that. Okay, it's almost. I'll show you actually. Can I show you? Yeah, I can show you. So I got 28 points for putting 15 levels into them. Look how many points I get for actually pushing their level. 50. So it's like half the amount of points for leveling someone I got for just putting in 2 brews to 1 champ. Imagine how many food champions you've got along the way. You know, I would have needed 3 food champions in there. So I would have got 150% of the points I needed from leveling someone in food champions. Yeah, bear that in mind. A 4-star champion then. So if we're going to be upgrading their level, I'm going to be putting in 4 brews. Okay, gets me to level 21. And a 4-star just earned 60 points for someone who is going to be food. Okay, do I have any 5 stars I can do this with right now? I'll just make one quick. So a 5-star champion. Again, I'm only going to feed food that I've already leveled to level 21. Yeah, with my 4 brews. You see that I've done this before. This is not me telling a fib. This is what I've done before. So my food champions are all leveled to 21 with brews. My 40 is going to become a 50. Let's assume this is still a food champion, okay? So I got 100 points for leveling him. I then go and put in 7 brews. Okay, you can choose what you want to do depending on your account situation. You could do 6, but what you really want is to just go over the level. You could even come down to 5 and put 1-1-star in. If you want to, if you're like fairly brew starved. Okay, this is reasonable efficiency. But I tend to go 7, which kind of like is not great efficiency. You could go 8 and get really good efficiency, but again, you're using a lot more brews. So at 8, I got 162 points, okay? And all I'm doing is putting levels into food. That's what you need to assume I'm doing all the way through this. Okay, so this is how people earn a good amount of points through leveling their champions. It's not so much taking loads of people up to 6-star, it's making sure that all of the food is leveled before it is fed. That's the way you do it in this game to earn points in this type of tournament. Now, obviously you can do all of what I've just done with energy in campaign as well. Yeah, it's not just you have to have all these brews. On a free to play, I would be doing this in campaign, leveling at 12-3 or 12-6 brutal. In fact, nowadays, if you can do it, depending on your account strength, you're actually better off coming into Nightmare 12-6. Obviously, with the amount of power creep in the game, it's much easier to do than it ever was before. There's a chance my dude is not even built right now because I've been changing gear. Now he is built. Okay, so if you look here, let's say these are all my food champions. You need a relatively well-built champ for this. But honestly, I've seen accounts now, you know, it used to be like there's 3 or 4 champs that can do it. Nowadays, I'm seeing like, I don't know, Belluas or Skull Crowns, like champions that you never would have thought possible to do this are still doing it because of power creep in the game. So, you know, farming 12-6 Nightmare, which used to be a real challenge, is now not such a challenge. And honestly, it's relatively quick. And it's the best energy for experience that you can do in the game. Okay, so it punches a lot of experience on your champs. So that's the optimal. But if for most players that don't have a good build that could do that, you can literally just come back to 12-3 with a much. I mean, you can do this with basically any 6-star that's got AOEs at this point with a half decent build and just farm here. And as I say, the levels that I showed you in the tavern is basically what you want to be aiming for there or thereabouts in campaign. So, if I was throwing in my level 4s here, I want to try and get them close to level 21. Yeah, that's the sort of, and the 3 stars close to level 15. So that is going to be how you do your kind of like through the week building of points and do it as optimally as you can. But yeah, it is, it's tough. It's going to be tough because 1 in 100 are going to get this, but it is competitive out there. People are going to push for this. People will be pushing at least for this 12,500 points anyway. So, you'll be able to see, you see Nox here is literally doing the, I'm going to blow the competition away early. See? But yeah, people will be pushing for these rewards anyway. And at that point, you're like, well, I'm kind of in the mix to just go for this now. But yeah, it's gonna be tiers. There'll be tiers at the end of this for plenty of people. Okay, let's just have a quick look at this summoning event then. So we will be able to get, let's just check player in play here in the events calendar. So what have we got going on? Summon import event here. One. There's normally at least one that we can get a freebie on. Oh, here you go. So Gear Ascension Tournament. So you're going to be doing runs in either Sand Devils or Phantom Shogun if you want. So this is for the people that are not doing that event, by the way. If you're using energy for champs, you're probably not going to be doing this. But we can get ourselves a free Prism Crystal through the Gear Ascension dungeon. That's going to be dropping in tomorrow by the looks of it. And up for grabs here. So a 6% chance of getting a legendary. And of that, you've got the new Unity guy for Shadowkin. And then in terms of legendaries, Harima, I'd say, is easily outright like top here. Mishinaki, super good for Hydra and general content, honestly. Jinturo is solid as well. I always forget this guy, Riptide. What's going on with him? Cool name. Ignores defense. Will ignore stone skin buffs if under veil. On that A2. Okay, so a straight damage dealer. And then obviously in the epics here, if you don't pick up a legendary, we've got Burundiri really good, Taragi really good. Outside of that, Kunichi is kind of good early game. Wuji has got some pretty crazy multipliers as a niche pick. But yeah, outside of that, more like faction warsy type of champs. So not anything great. So yeah, lots going on. Community Week's kicking off. Let me know down below. Are you going to be going for Lady Mikage Soul? Is it worth it to you to pump loads of resources into that? And I will see you in the next one.